Frosty, Heidi, and Frank. 520-9710. 888-520-9710.
Frosty, Heidi, and Frank.
On Free FM.
Free FM, Frosty, Heidi, and Frank. If you're just joining us, well, we've had some fireworks in here today, and we're not even done with it.
Well, it looks like we're going to be on the news.
Oh, God.
NBC, because they'll show anything, bastards.
And I wore my good blue T-shirt today, so.
Are you going to run off and get your hair done?
I already went in the bathroom and combed it.
I know, I saw he's got wet. He put water in it, yeah.
Well, see, the headphones squash it down.
That looks so much better
But your
now.
headphones are on, so it's no point in fixing your hair. That's why I'm like, why am I going to fix this mess when the headphones are on?
I look so bad on TV, I don't even try to look good anymore. You two, I hope they don't even show me. I just hope they broadcast my voice.
You're going to be like, you'll hear it change in Frosty's voice. He'll be all Larry King all of a sudden. Well, Gordon, what do you think of NBC?
Are you implying I'm not going to change my delivery just when the television cameras are on?
I want the listeners to try and hear it.
You won't even be able to tell.
Oh,
I'm consistently... Like I am now is how I'll be then.
I guarantee.
No.
We've known you for 7 years.
You're reading stuff into stuff that's not there.
I will sit back and be quiet, and then you can ask Gordon the first question. I guarantee it'll be a totally different tone of voice, different persona, everything.
So, Gordon, tell me how there's exciting things at
This
NBC.
is why I hate when TV crews come in.
Well, that never really happens, does it? When's the last time that happened?
Well...
They missed a really good Scream Fest, though, last hour. Off the air, even.
It's always great when television crews do go to a radio station because they're talking about the issue at hand. They really probably won't get any pictures of us.
None.
It'll just be the digital meter, the board here with all the pots and
the
stuff
lights
up, and maybe the computer screen of people emailing,
phone
bank.
Yeah, and then they'll say DJs, and won't even say our name.
I guarantee it'll be like the triplets.
Oh, I'll kill them.
Can you imagine? They'll do that on purpose.
It'll have
he hates us now.
It'll have the station wrong, and no one can actually get the graphics right at stations. It'll be like the triplets at ABC or whatever. You know what we could do?
Talk about something completely different, like Survivor.
No, let's not do that. I don't think NBC would broadcast that.
They come in here and talk about this issue, and we're talking about nothing.
They're setting up in the hall, so then this is not on out there, so they're not hearing this, and they're not quite filming it. You know what we could do? We could fake a fight. Like I could throw something at you, like a trash can.
No, because I might break something. That actually might hurt me.
Okay, well, how about my papers? I could throw these papers at your head.
Let's have, like, Shayna go get some down feather pillows, and we'll have a pillow fight. We'll rip them open. It'll be nothing but feathers in here.
Right.
They go make the news.
I think so.
And I'll get my bra and panties.
Poof. Yeah, you get in your bra and panties, and we'll start hitting Gordon. We'll beat the hell out of him going into break.
He will send it.
How dare you, NBC?
I'll smack the Mitsu right out of his name.
Mitsu.
Whatever his name. Takamitsu.
Takamatsu.
Let me write that down. Taka what?
Takamatsu soup.
We've talked to him many times. I should know his name by now. Okay, anyway. So, meantime, your calls, 888-520-9710. Frank and I really do, sincerely, genuinely.
Hate each
other. And we really do agree to disagree, I guess, on whether or not NBC was right or wrong to show the manifesto.
No, it's not. That's where you're wrong. That's where you've been confused. Whether to show the video of him reading the manifesto.
Well, that's what I said, the manifesto.
No, the manifesto, I say, yeah.
That's what I meant.
That's where we've been.
But NBC shows
that I don't want to see anything. I'm not trying to stick my head in the sand, and you're making people think that I don't want to hear anything, that I just want to be in the dark. No, I don't think we should be in the dark. I just don't think that we should have glorified him by letting him read it. He sent it off to NBC for a reason, and he got what he wanted, and I think that was wrong. Put the story out there, just don't add the pictures. Meaning all of his... And I've said it. The horse is dead. It's a blood stain. We beat the crap out of it.
It's glue.
But you know what? I was asking myself, why? After
Tell me why.
Tell me why.
Why?
And the answers to why are found in him talking to that camera, reading his words. The hatred, the venom, the vile only comes through when you're looking at him visually and you're looking at his face and you hear his voice, so much more so than just reading it in the newspaper. There's a lot of information there. That's why a movie is usually infinitely more interesting and entertaining than just reading a paperback. So I think the story is the video and what's in it and on it, and I think that's why people like me wanted to see it. If I don't want to see it again, I'll change channels if they show it again. I thought NBC was showing it over and over and over, maybe a little too much, milking that cash cow a little too much.
Well, I know Matt Lauer.
But I think it should be shown.
Matt Lauer this morning on the Today Show, I guess he was feeling the heat, but he said, before we show this, I want to say, if you're watching and you're disagreeing with the fact that we're going to play this, I want to say we're not going to play it over and over and over again. We're only going to show you a little bit of it.
Did he also tell you that families of some of the victims who were supposed to appear on today refused because they did it?
Yes,
Right,
he did
yeah.
talk
Refused to
about
go
that.
on.
That they said they don't think that
But
guy
I'm wrong.
deserves.
888-520-9710. What do you think? Amanda in Covina.
Hi. Wow, I'm a long-time listener. This is my first time calling.
Wow, finally got you.
I know, can't believe it. But I just wanted to say that I kind of side with Frank.
Well, then thanks for calling. Goodbye.
I'm not sure if Frank agrees with them showing the picture, the passport photo of him. That
I think
him
that's
at the
fine.
wire rims.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry?
I think showing the passport photo was the only photo we needed. We saw his face, there he is, and then this is what he had to say.
Right. Well, Chris, this is kind of a comment on that email that said we need to know the face of the enemy or whatever it said.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Don't you think that he looked more like the guy on the passport photo with the wire rim glasses? The only time he had the guns was during the shooting, and he looked like the bad ASS or whatever. But
yeah, the monster appeared when the glasses came off and he put on that Boy Scout vest and was holding the guns. That's the guy who did this.
But that's him going, this is the way no one's ever seen me. You just think that I'm quiet and shy, but look how big and badass I am. Oh, you're such a big badass.
Yeah, the other picture we had was him, what he is every day with the wire rim glasses and the greasy face.
Yeah, the quiet nerd.
See, there you go. That's why you need to always be on the lookout, because the meek guy that's quiet in the corner with glasses and has no friends.
Stridex can prevent school shootings. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. There's a dark side to a lot of people out there.
You just rendered that.
Just ahead of the rest of your calls, here's, for those who haven't actually heard the manifesto, and I'm guessing maybe some of you haven't, though, if you want to see it, seek it out. It's online. I don't know if
I'm all for that. If you want to see it, see it.
Okay, well, there you go. See, that's the thing. We're in a different age now, Frank. Remember when Columbine happened? That's been so many years ago. Internet was around, but it wasn't like it was now. I don't think there was a YouTube back then. And, previous disasters events before that, going 10, 12 years back, you had to watch the news or you didn't see it. Now, even if NBC had never shown it, it would be just as viewable and just as viewed online.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will, that during the Columbine thing, they searched one of the kids' basements where they hung out, and that's when they found, the map of the school and the whole plan and, the ammo and different types of guns and the computer that they looked up stuff on, but there was never anything sent to a media outlet.
No, because there's...
So when they found that kind of stuff, they reported on it. I don't know if they actually showed you their map or their sketches or whatever, or,
Well, they showed the video on the news this morning. Did you see that?
Of the Columbine thing?
Oh, yeah. They're in their
no.
They're in their basement. And they're
these home video.
Yelling
they
at
did
the
have
camera.
home videos of them shooting out in the woods, right?
And in there and talking to the crowd about what they're going to do and holding their guns up.
The difference was they found that in their little basement hangout room.
Mm-hmm.
So now this guy has proven, well, you can send it out here, and I'm going to make my own video, and then the worry is there are going to be copycats, and maybe this helped someone decide to do something stupid in the fact that I can be on an equal level with my heroes, those guys being heroes to that certain type of freak.
And there's a place, I think, in Yuba, California. Northern California, that is on complete lockdown right now because there is somebody saying that he or she, it just says somebody, going to make it look like what happened at Virginia Tech look mild.
Oh, God.
Make that massacre look mild. So now we've got Florida. Just so far during the show, we've got Florida. Now we've got Northern California with somebody. I mean, the whole place is on lockdown.
I'm not so worried about the ones today because anyone can leave a note and giggle. They're going to be the people who really aren't serious are going to be shaken out in the next 48 hours. It's the ones who are going to hatch a plan. Do what this guy did, buy a gun, and it takes 30 days to get another. A month or two from now is when I'm really going to be worried.
And I guess in Virginia there's no grace period. It's like he walked in that day, he had 3 forms of ID, they did a background check there at the store, and he walked out with gun and ammo that day. So there's not that 3-day, or I guess every state has a different law. Virginia doesn't have that.
There's no cooling off
There's no
thing?
cooling off period.
Well,
You can just buy it the same day.
But even a 3-day wouldn't have worked for him anyway. I mean,
he waited a month to get a second gun.
Right.
That's true.
Calls, I promise, in a second. But if you remember, right after Columbine happened, they had tape from one of the cameras in the cafeteria where I believe most of the dead bodies. But they didn't show that for the longest time. They had it instantly, but they chose not to show it. And I remember at the time, people were saying, well, it was because of out of respect for the dead bodies. But now that you've seen that, most of you really don't hardly see any bodies. I think it was the same fear guiding it then. whoa, we don't want to show these guys walking around with guns.
And they ended up showing it years later, right?
It took years, but the initial fear was, we don't want to make copycats do this. Well, guess what? How many years went by between Columbine and day before yesterday? And it happened anyway.
Didn't it happen on the same date?
It was close to it. It was
to
within
the week.
Was it within a few days?
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter if you show it or not. If you want to emulate these demons, you're going to do it, whether or not you've seen video.
Freaks, but this might be a catalyst to have that happen sooner for that certain freak who's watching.
Well, then you know what? That's a good thing. Let's let all of them that are going to happen now, get them out of the way, and then we can move on.
Oh, great.
No, seriously, there's logic in that. Let's get all the plane crashes out of the way this week. All of them that are going to fall from the sky crash now so we can start flying a week from Tuesday.
Now, here's an example on the most basic level of my point. I guess it's like during a sporting event when somebody runs out on the field. The cameras always go away from it, go up into the crowd, go to the sidelines. They never show the guy running on the field or girl, whoever, streaking or just, they're running down the middle of the field. They never show that because they don't want copycats ruining the game, knowing they're going to make the Jumbotron if they just happen to jump over a railing and start running.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, we all want to see that guy get tackled by security. That would be completely entertaining, or maybe a shortstop throws a clothesline. We want to see that, but we don't because they don't want more people to be jumping on the field for their 15 minutes of fame.
But see, you're talking both sides of the story. You agree with me. You want to see it because in that world, that is the story.
But they're not showing it to me because that prevents others from going, you know what? What's the point? I'm going to go out there and get tackled by a bunch of guys in yellow jackets.
And no one's ever going to see it.
And no one's going to see me. So, you know what? Can I get another bag of popcorn?
Well,
I'll sit here and be nice.
It might or it might not make more. It's like
that's why they do it. That's why their motivation is cameras go off the field when someone runs on. That's policy.
I understand that, and I guess I agree with that. I'm just saying I don't want to open this floodgates of stuff that networks decide they don't want you to see, because there's a fear in there that someone else may do something like that too. Because once you've opened that Pandora's box, we would not have seen the planes flying into the trade towers. We wouldn't have seen the Oklahoma City building collapsing. We wouldn't have seen the Columbine footage eventually. You won't be shown a lot of stuff that is in fact news. I want the American public to be able to see it, decide for themselves if they want to see it again, if not, change the channel. Is
that why all live events are on an 8-second delay because of the Super Bowl thing?
Well, it's the obscenity fear now. The bad word might get on the air and the station's fine. That's what's guiding that. It's not a decency. It's not a...
It's a decision making. Okay, do we want them to see that? No, delete.
Well, but that's driven by the threat of fines. You have to do that. I mean, that's a whole separate guideline and rules of obscenity. They're not on a 7-second delay because they're afraid someone's going to jump up in the crowd and start shooting people. They would zoom in and show that because that would be a news. You tell me the cameras would pan away from a mass murder in the middle of a sports event? They would zoom in on it, Frank. That is the news story.
I disagree.
I get the rainbow color bars, and we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand
Remember
by.
the freeway chase where they pulled away? They didn't show you when the guy blew his head off?
Oh, yeah.
They did show you that.
Show it. They just didn't re-show it.
They didn't re-show it. Okay, and after that,
that was live, and that was news, and then he had a message about what, AIDS or something like that.
I didn't know he had a message.
Yeah, he had AIDS, and he had his dog in the car, right?
He burned his dog alive.
His dog alive in his car, and then blew his head off. And they interrupted Batman, the cartoon, to show you this.
But they only showed you once. They didn't show you twice, and they wouldn't show it today if it happened. They're on the delay, and if it happened, they would pull back and not show.
This is what I don't get, and I promise your calls will be on at the end of this run-on sentence. I promise it. My hand is up. I swear to you. To have the viewers invest half an hour or an hour and a half, a significant chunk of their time in watching a police chase down the highway. The only reason you're watching is to see how it ends. You're secretly hoping there's going to be a crash or shooting. You want to see a violent end. You don't want to see the guy run out of gas, politely get out, be handcuffed, and take away. That's a letdown. There's no payoff. There's no climax to the plot. You look for the blood and the explosion. Now, God help them if they actually see it. Remember when they zoomed in on the guy when he got out of the car? They zoomed in on him. It was a close-up.
Yeah.
And then he blew his head off.
He stuck a shotgun in his mouth.
Yeah, and remember what the cameras did the second he blew his head off? They zoomed all the way back up to the helicopter shot. Like, we don't want you to see this. Well, then why were you following and why did you zoom in on him? You were showing it to show the end of it. So don't act like you're all appalled and moral high.
No, but they didn't know how it would end. And most of them don't end with the guy sticking a double barrel in his mouth and blowing his head off during 3 o'clock cartoons.
But it's a possibility. It could happen.
And now they know that.
So if you zoom in on a guy who's at the end of a car chase, You're telling me, oh, I'm sorry we showed you how it ended. No, you aren't, you idiot. You just aired it for 2 hours because you knew we'd watch to see how it ends.
Then you record it and then play it back when the kids are asleep.
Well, remember the little girl who ran in and said, Mommy, why is this guy's head leaking?
What?
Yeah, I think a caller told us that. Yeah, the guy was on the road and his brains were...
Oh, yeah, when that happened, we had somebody called up
Mommy,
because they interrupted
man's
like,
head's
the
leaking.
cartoon Batman.
Oh, my God.
All right, it's promised your calls.
His dog's on fire.
Donnie in Phoenix, and with Frosty, Heidi, and Frank.
How's it going, guys?
What's up?
I must say I agree with Frank on this one. I'm glad you brought up the baseball thing because that's exactly where I was going. There's just no point in seeing that stuff. You're just going to give people ideas, and it also leads me to believe what is constituted as newsworthy. I mean, is it just because people want to see this stuff? Does that really make it newsworthy?
People will watch what is relevant, interesting, or important to the story, and I think this guy's videotape manifesto has most of the answers to why he did what he did. It's in there. That's the last page of the novel. That's where the answers are found. So, yeah, people want to see that because they want to know why he did what he did. And to see him, to see his evil face, and to hear those words coming out of his mouth as you're looking at the son of a bitch, that's where the answers are. How can you not show that to the public?
They could have said, okay, here's the printed transcript, or like I said, the news anchor reports it like that with the still photo of his passport or driver's license or whatever that was. And if you want to see the video, you can go to NBC.com yourself and download it. That way they gave you the choice if you want to see it or if you don't want to see it.
That's what CNN did.
That way they're not just, it's not over and over and over again. I think it was the saturation of the whole thing that I was like, my God, this guy is just everywhere, and this is exactly what he wanted. And just to know that we're giving him what he wanted, this horrible human being, kind of has to make you a little bit sick to your stomach.
I know. I know what you're saying, and that's sick and wrong, but to not give him what he wanted is to not report the story and let you see the horror of it.
But I'm going to give you the option of seeing, if you want to see it, see it. If you don't, don't.
If I exploded a nuclear bomb in Valencia, oh, sorry, it's been done this season. No, if I went and I exploded a nuclear bomb and I killed thousands of people, horrible, horrible horror, and then you found out there were a videotape, surveillance camera that was zoomed in from far, far away and actually saw me walking down the street with a bomb and lighting the fuse, pulling the string, whatever you do. Wouldn't they show that?
Well, yeah, I mean, they showed the guys walking into the train station in Madrid and everything like that, those videos.
What if on that video, just before I, lit the fuse, I knew where the camera was and I turned around and I bowed to it? And then, I was aware that this was going to be...
Then I say no.
Then you wouldn't show it. See, I don't understand that. The story is even more demonic and monstrous then. And that you have to show it then. What if I held up a sign saying why I'm destroying Valencia? Here's on a cardboard sign. Here's the reasons why. And I hold it up and I read it to you. Wouldn't you want to see that and know why I did what I did and hear it from my face and my eyes?
Vote for Sanjaya on a sign. You're getting a message out. You know what? I'm not going to let this guy get his message out. I know it was an extreme case. He blew up Valencia for Sanjaya, which is strange. But we're not going to let him get his message out.
Now, what do you think about this, Mike? You're on Free FM.
I agree with you, Frank. If you want to hear about it, you should read. If you want to search out the videos and search them out, Frosty's theory is all the footage should be shown. Is that right, Frosty?
Yeah, in something it lets a news story, even if it has shocking images on it, yes, I think so. And that we can extend that to showing caskets in a plane. Yeah, show it.
Even if there were video of the victims that were being shot? I mean, there's not, but even if there was video?
There's video of dead bodies on every movie that's on television. We're kind of anesthetized the bodies falling over.
But we know that's fake blood.
Okay, that's not something you want to see ran on TV all the time.
Mike, I know it's question for you, Mike, quickly. After Katrina happened, there were images of dead, puffed up, bloated bodies floating in the water. You saying we shouldn't have shown that? Wasn't that part of the horror of the story?
No, I don't think they should have showed that. No.
Well, so Mother Nature was trying to get on TV.
Yeah, but the horrors of the story...
Just an attention whore.
It is what it is. There's the body. This is how bad it is. You have coverage of the Iraq War on TV.
A woman covered in leaves and vines saying, have you ever had trash shoved down your throat? You're killing the ozone. I'm going to show you.
Norm and the
And all of a sudden
moons.
she's like Katharine Hepburn. That's how I picture Mother Nature. She's Katharine Hepburn.
Back with your calls, 888-520-9710.
Winds will blow.
Frosty, Heidi, and Frank. Free FM, we're Frosty, Heidi, and Frank. Your calls about this Virginia Tech monster guy, 888-520-9710.
Let's do one more round of whether you think NBC made the right choice in airing the actual video along with the manifesto and the multiple pictures that they showed of the Virginia Tech shooter. Gordon Takamatsu's here with us. He's not on the air with us because he's a reporter guy and he can't choose sides, but he told me off the air he thinks NBC sucks.
You know, I'm surprised you can understand because he's so hungover, you're slurring his words.
Really?
Oh, and what a womanizer. Pinched my butt and... I always thought he was like this.
Handsy.
Right.
But very handsome, so I let it go.
Chris Hansen is waiting for him outside, so we'll have to let him go. Anyway, your calls, 888-520-9710. Just, Frank is also extending this conversation to being upset that you see the guy's face on the cover of every newspaper and, of course, every magazine. So it's making him into a legend. You don't think he deserves to be made into some sort of infamous legend, even though it is news that's being covered and shown.
You can report the news without the pictures. Yeah, report the manifesto. Just don't show the photo shoot that he took of himself with his guns and, ooh, look at me, look at me. You're glorifying him, and he's got exactly what he wanted because he sent it to NBC. He didn't send it to the police first. He sent it to NBC with full intent to go, look at me, please show this to everyone, and they chose to.
So what? Is this like 1850? Should we just telegraph with, but don't show his face? I mean, in this age, we use...
yeah, it's 1850.
We use visual things in this age, Frank. There are cameras who capture things people want to see.
He sent it by
the ability
carrier
is there.
Yeah, he's never read a book without pictures. I understand. I have. And I still got the story.
Sean in Arizona, you're on Free FM. What do you think?
Oh, Frosty. I don't know. I mean, I understand that you seem like a pretty smart guy, but, Frank is absolutely right on this. I'm a high school teacher, and although it doesn't happen very often, if a student decides they want to kill themselves, we don't put it in the school newspaper. We don't put their picture up. We do offer counseling. However, we don't say what the counseling's for, the people that know her, and, of course, the word spreads like wildfire. But you're making this guy, just like Frank said, a martyr, and it's not right.
Isn't he already a martyr for his sick, evil cause, whether or not his manifesto is shown on NBC, whether or not he's on the front page of the paper? What he did will never be forgotten. He's already a martyr to people like the Harrison Klebold wannabes. The manifesto is not elevating him any more than he already has elevated himself with his heinous act.
Of course it is. I mean, these kids are so impressionable. And some of them, I mean, like I said, it's not very many, but some of them are so close to the edge, in their everyday life. Something like this, say, yeah, you know what, I can get out there and I can get noticed too.
All they needed was that nudge.
But you know
right,
what, Sean, even if NBC had chosen not to show it, it was still going to be found online. It would be out there and available.
How is that? If NBC was this company that had the only copy, if they chose not to air it, how's it going to get anywhere? If no one took it and put it anywhere.
It'll get out. Everything gets out in this day and age.
There could have been a leak at NBC, which, Gordon can attest to. And, or, if it was sent to, because I think NBC did actually give it to the police in Blacksburg, but after they decided what they were going to do with it.
Right.
And then the police in Blacksburg were upset with what they decided to show.
Well, the people that are mad at NBC, are you also mad at all the other networks except for Fox, the one who's taken a righteous stand Fox, after the others have shown it?
And Fox did show it many, many times until this backlash started happening from people, and they're like, okay, we're going to stop showing it.
Yeah, there was an opening for someone to be on a high moral horse, and now they filled that opening. They would have shown it, too. Whatever network would have got it first would have put on the air immediately. That's what you're supposed to do if you're really reporting news. And this manifesto is the story. It's in there. The answers are there. So it should go on instantly. Yes.
And the reason I've been sitting here, and I can see both of your...
why are you sitting here?
Both of your points in that, Frosty, like you, I have a broadcast journalism degree.
Yeah,
How's that going?
When are you going to start using that?
No, I actually do. I know, shocking. So I understand that in broadcast journalism school, you are taught you've got to tell the whole story truthfully and without bias. So that's where I'm on Frosty's side, where that is part of the whole story, is showing the picture, showing the video. But where I'm on your side is that's the same thing.
You have to show some responsibility, too.
Yeah, you have to show responsibility. And I don't want to give this guy what he wants. He killed 32 people. No, I don't want to make him a martyr and a hero and a big tough ass with guns ablazing.
It's not the place of the network brass to decide whether or not someone is becoming more famous or more martyred. Their job is to show the news. And every one of those people at NBC should have been fired had they not put it on the air. That's their job. They got a package. The answers to this tragedy are found in that video clip. They should and did show it. Had they not shown it, they should be fired.
They should have said, we have it. If you want to see it, go to NBC.com.
How is it any different than showing it?
Because then you will pursue what you want to see since you have to see this. I don't have to see
It's
this.
not going to be shoved down your throat.
In a way, we should have just erased this guy from history and made him an isolated case study for psych classes.
Well, these martyrs you're worried about, these killer wannabes, if they say we're not going to show it on the public airwaves, but you can see it at MSNBC, they're going to go find it there, so they're going to go seek it out. You're telling them where to see it.
Well, I know, but I'll feel better about it.
Oh, fine. As long as you feel better.
It's all about you.
Deb, you're on Free FM.
Wow, you guys are going at it today. I just wanted to say that what's hard for me is the manifesto gave reasons for something that would have been very deliberate, and it seemed like the shootings and the victims' families are the ones I'm thinking of. It seems like they were very random, and some of those people might not have been very well off. It was clear that his manifesto was targeting the well off, and if I were somebody surviving the loss of my, God forbid, my child or my sibling or whatever, I would have been more incensed that they died in this senseless way by this crazy guy who clearly had this intent. And it just, to me, it makes the whole thing harder in a society where we don't differentiate between famous and infamous. It's making him famous for being infamous, and that's where
it is what it is.
Psychos can come along.
See, Debbie said it much better than I ever did.
Yeah, she's a woman, too. It always sounds better when a woman says it.
Doesn't it?
I don't care if you like the fact that bad people become infamous. You know what? When Osama bin Laden is eventually found and killed, what if we find a tape that he made, some sort of manifesto saying how he hates America and calling Al-Qaeda to kill the rest of us off? Are we not going to show that? Guess what? That's news. You better show that.
Well, we know NBC will.
It's not going to make him more. Oh, people emulate him more now than they were. No, they were emulating him already. There are already sick freaks out there and evil people who do evil things. They don't wait to see a video clip on NBC and then go, oh, I'm evil. Guess what? They're going to do these things anyway.
There might be more of a. I'm relating to that guy because there he is. There he's talking, and I feel exactly like him. And the feelings were transferred through the video as opposed to let's just show the passport photo. Let's show the driver's license photo and just in print and let somebody read that to me or let me read it to myself.
So we shouldn't show footage of planes flying into the Trade Center towers
Why
or
do you go back to that?
Because there's a war going
We're
where
lucky
people
there
who
was a
hate us and want to
camera
kill
on
us.
for that.
There's people who want to kill us, Frank. This idiot read his manifesto.
Most of our listeners. Want to be honest?
Bill in Temecula, you're on Free FM.
Hey guys, love your show. Listen, I agree with Frank wholeheartedly on this. I think if NBC wanted to make a point and use it as a, hey, heads up to this, they should have showed the one picture of him with his wireframe glasses and the one with the hammer, and that's it. Honestly, I have a daughter in college and a father that's a professor here in L.A., and I'm more concerned about them after all this crap has been aired than I was when it occurred.
Hey, Bill, guess what? He didn't kill them with a hammer. He killed them with a gun. That's why they showed him holding his guns. It wasn't a hammer attack. So why would you want him to show a picture of him with a hammer? That doesn't make any sense.
Why are they printing the picture with the hammer? It's on the front page of the Daily News.
Because they showed all the pictures, and one of them he had a hammer and a knife to his throat. You know what? He didn't slash his own throat, but that doesn't mean you don't show that photo. It's one of the photos he took of himself, so you show it. But you got to show the gun photos. The guy who killed the people was holding that gun. Don't you want to see the way he was holding it?
Do they have on that?
No. Why do you need to see that?
Frank,
then you're a sick bastard.
I'm not a sick bastard. There's the photo that's really, really creepy, where he's aiming it right at the camera, and you're looking into the barrel of the gun with his evil eyes behind it. It's heinous and horrible, but that's the last image that a lot of those victims saw.
What's the feeling you get from that picture?
That I was there. It's like, it doesn't get any more first person what the victim saw than that. It's horrible and it's terrible, and if I don't want to see it, I'll look away from that photo. But I want the option of seeing what...
You're so desperate to be part of a group that you actually want to feel like you were there?
No, I want to see the news. If he didn't get any more first person news, you were there than that. This is what they saw. Him looking down the barrel of a gun. That's news. You got to show that.
I don't need to see that.
Well, stick your head in the sand and act like everything's puppy dogs and moonbeams.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I don't need to see him pointing his gun at a camera. He took the picture himself. He had no friends. I want to know how many times he took a picture and said, that's not a good one, not my good side.
Delete.
Didn't look angry enough.
Deleted one.
Yeah, let me pick up my saw. I don't know about the saw. Maybe the hammer.
Right.
He shouldn't have been so depressed because he can at least work a digital camera timer. I can't.
He must have very, very long
And you
arms.
have a broadcast journalism degree.
I do.
That's University of Cincinnati, though, so.
How dare you?
She has a minor in VCR repair. Eddie, you're on Frosty, Heidi, and Frank.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, Eddie?
Let's not be hypocritical here. If you don't want to see it, change the channel.
I agree with you, but in this case, every channel is playing the same bad joke.
Well, you
in
know
the sense
what?
I said about Imus, you don't like it, change the channel.
Okay,
and so, yeah.
how is he?
That?
Well, how is he being glorified? He's dead.
Well, he's a martyr.
Yeah.
But so what?
You're giving him him what he wants in death.
Yeah, he made it in the history books.
You know what? He didn't make it in the history books because NBC.
If he was still if he was still invisible in life as he was, or invisible in death, then he didn't attain anything for himself.
You know what? He would have been just as infamous and just as known as one of the worst killers of the century, and just as big a monster, irregardless of whether or not his manifesto appeared on NBC in living color. That's not what made him an infamous, some would say, evil legend. The act is what made him that. This is showing the coverage of it. The footage exists.
Okay, so this happens again, and you see that person in their video that they sent off to NBC mentioning Dylan Klebold, Eric Harris, and Cho in the same sentence, and, got the idea from that. And it's a similar video, holding a hammer. I mean, are you going to back me up then and go, maybe we shouldn't have shown those pictures?
Look how many years are between Columbine and this. He waited a long time and still was inspired by Klebold and Harris. And this is the video age. There are cameras on everything, everywhere. So, of course, you're going to see footage of the next psycho going psycho.
Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Back to the rest of you, 888-520-9710. I didn't make chin face.
You did. You're making it right now.
You didn't change the tone of your voice.
Chin face.
Right there.
You chin face once for the camera.
What do you think about that?
This is what we have to live with.
Frosty, Heidi, and Frank. Free FM, Frosty, Heidi, and Frank. If you're watching NBC News tonight, just remember the camera adds 120 pounds. So if I look fat, I'm really not fat. I just look fat on television.
Yeah, about halfway through that, I was like, I better start sucking in. I'm wearing white.
I always look awful on TV. I don't even
Me
want to
too. That's why they're like, hey, TV crew, great.
And the lighting's bad. And
Yeah,
I'm
Heidi
fat
didn't want the
pale.
cameras to come in. She's like, no, I don't think we should do it.
Well, she dressed kind of slutty today. She
At least they
doesn't look
got your good
authoritative.
side.
Do I have a good side?
Well, I was just saying that.
Oh, to
I
be
was,
nice.
I was hoping that you would agree.
Yeah.
Like, you think that's your good side?
Yeah.
I was just throwing it out there.
So I sit back and not say a whole lot. I'm
Yeah.
like, if I don't say anything,
I
the
had
camera
a
won't go on
50-50
me.
chance of, guessing the right side you think is good.
You're right, though. My right is my better
All
side.
right, there we go. I got it.
Heidi's good side is the back of her heel when she's walking out the door.
I think it's the top of her head.
Well, that is your favorite, isn't
It
it,
is my
sweetheart?
favorite. Oh, my God.
We have so little time, and so many more of you still want to chime in on the horrors of the shooter guy, and of course whether or not NBC should have shown the manifesto on television. But there's so little time, we're going to give you, that's good. When you hear that, that means your 23 seconds are up. That's all we can make for you is 23 seconds, so get your point done quickly, starting with Philip in Upland. You're on Free FM.
Hi, Frank and Frosty, you're both wrong.
Sorry, time's up.
Okay. Nicole in Arizona, you're on Free FM.
I agree with Frank. My husband and I were discussing it. I chose not to watch any of the feed. My husband went online. He, looked it up. I guess it was on MSN also. And so I'd rather not see it because I know for a fact that that guy's a nut job and he shouldn't be.
Okay, but you were able to see it if you wanted to. That's all about choice. If you don't want to see it, don't watch it. Don't have NBC not show it, and then you don't have a choice.
That's what I said. I give you a choice. Go to our website if you want to see it. Okay, my time's up.
Mona on the 5, you're on Free FM.
Hi there, guys. I think that Frosty, once you become a parent...
Oh, God.
Oh, God, what?
Frosty is a parent?
Well, if that were to happen, I think his opinion might change. So I think those poor parents who see the image that their child last saw, it's got to be horrible to see that gun pointing at you. I think if you're a parent...
Hey, Mona?
Yes.
Hello, Kevin. You're on Free FM.
Hey, guys. I enjoy listening to all three of you, but Frank, as always, I agree with you.
Thank you.
I'm
That's
sorry.
not really a loud enough ding-ding. I don't think they know their time is up.
The fact is the media can and does choose what is televised regardless of being able to change the station. And the media knew when they received the video what the shooter wanted, and still they did his work by glorifying him.
Got an email here from Aaron. Your time is up. Got an email from Aaron saying, no one can force you to watch network news. I have a remote, and I chose to watch the Search for the Next Pussycat Doll shake their ass last night. Now, that was informative.
Okay, well.
See, there was option.
NBC didn't do his work by glorifying. NBC didn't kill anybody. They reported his killing and the reasons why he did. Okay. Shannon in Phoenix, you're on Free FM.
Yes, NBC compounded the agony of the families by showing the video. I agree with Frank. If you want to tell me something, tell me how to avoid having my kid turn out that way.
Well, that's the job of the Dr. Phils of the nation. And, yeah, there are several hundred people who are personally affected, but there are several tens of millions who want the story. So at what point do the, 299 million of us not get to see the whole story because 333 are going to be upset? I mean, you got to go with the most majority wins in this guy.
Tony says, here's the message. Mail my manifesto, kill a bunch of people, get my twisted theories on primetime TV. Mm-hmm. That's why they muted Manson.
Okay. Clinton, Phoenix, what do you think?
I think that this is driving me crazy. Frosty's not saying build a monument and worship this guy like Pi does with her husband's stuff.
Right.
He's just saying, let the news show how psychotic this guy was. That's what needs to be shown.
Good
Love
point.
you guys.
And you didn't figure that out before they showed you?
You know what, Frank? I've been to the Nazi museums that are around Dachau and
Auschwitz.
I've been to that.
You've been to Auschwitz?
Yeah, I was there years ago.
I heard that they still have, piles of hair.
What?
Well, they don't show you if they do.
No.
Under glass?
They had clothes and suitcases and teeth.
I was listening to another radio show on XM.
Right.
It's probably Opie and Anthony. And they had somebody on their show. I don't know who the guy was, but he said he just got back from Auschwitz. That's in Poland, right?
Yes.
And said that they all just moved out one day and didn't take anything with them. It's like there's
piles of stuff.
Yeah, behind the whole room, there's hair. There's a whole pile of ponytails and baby shoes.
I remember the shoes. I don't remember the hair.
You remember the ponytails?
I sure don't.
Oh, my
Maybe I didn't look in the right place. I remember the teeth with gold fillings.
It's a gigantic place, multiple football fields. You just walk around there, and it's just
heartbreaking.
Like they just got up and left one day and didn't take anything with them.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. But you know what? Some people would say, "Oh, we shouldn't have this museum showing this because it may glorify the Nazis. It may glorify Hitler. It may inspire the next Hitler." I say, no, it happened. You have to show what happened. Let people decide for themselves.
They're not putting out the Nazi message. They're saying, look at this.
Oh, they are.
They're almost go here in remembrance of the victims.
No, you got the videotapes of Hitler's and speeches and stuff and whatever. Not about Hitler, but.
What, on TVs at Auschwitz? You hit a button and it plays the Hitler speech?
Not there, but other places.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're not glorifying Hitler. That's for the victims.
How do you know? Yeah, but how do you know some sick Nazi skinhead wannabe isn't taking the message as a call to action to be the next Hitler?
I mean, you think that they're going there with their cameras and be like, hey!
How do you know?
Get a picture of me in front of the baby shoes.
By the way, I told you when I was at Pearl Harbor, and I think I just did chin face. Oh, my God.
You did do chin face.
I was at Pearl Harbor.
Let's do that over here.
It was a little weird to be in there, and it's basically a cemetery, and you're looking at pictures and love letters from people, and there would be groups of certain people smiling really big and wanting their picture taken next to...
the Japanese? That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know if they were Japanese. They were Asian. And I don't want to categorize them in that way.
Smiling?
Yeah, they were like... Like,
you can't do that.
No, but I'm saying
you can't impersonate Japanese talking.
Maybe in the culture it's not... I don't know.
They were Irish.
That'll get you in trouble.
Christ almighty, come over here and take my picture next to the love letter.
Thing is, we're moving on.
Thank God.
We're not talking about this anymore. And if you want to see us on television, it might be on tonight on NBC4.
What time?
In color.
I'm guessing evening news.
I'll just watch it all night.
It's got to go to post-production, add some special effects, stand me down a little.
Look at us being hypocrites, milking it for our own gain. Oh, Gordon, you son of a bitch.
As Frank pointed out earlier in the show, there's another weird, wacky, emotional tale going on that's not getting much coverage. We'll give it some when we come back. Frosty, Heidi, and Frank.